Wednesday, on Thursday, it's Waitangi, I don't have work tomorrow, it's time for a beer. Come and have a look. I've got a choice here. Pilsner, not very Pilsner, which is Pilsner malt with Rewalker Savan Mochueka US 05 Ale. We've got a Cascade Saison, and we've got our smash beer made with Pilsner and US Cascade. I've drunk a lot of Saison this summer, so it's going to be the Pilsner. I meant to brew this for my wife's 40th. Messy. Look at how clear that is. Delicious. Okay. Few changes since last week to my bottling system. Geez, that's good. And that's what I'm going to run you through. So, sit back, grab a beer, and let's look at a few wee things that have been happening. Why am I so excited about using isinglass? Look at that. Crystal clear. How do I do this? Well, basically, I use isinglass in primary, and I cold crash it, take it out of primary, don't do secondary, straight into the keg. If need be, I might whack a little bit more gelatine in there. Clean it up, and 3 days, pump it out, crystal clear beer. I did a little bit of videoing of this the other day when I was brewing a beer, actually this very beer. So let's look at this beer a week ago. Wasn't as clear as this, and let's have a look at the difference of using isinglass, double filtered with gelatine, and a little rest period in terms of beer quality, beer clarity. Cool.
As you can see, I've got my beer here ready for transferring, and the beer is clear, but moving it, I've knocked some of those impurities, which is a real bugger. So I'm going to transfer it into the keg. Okay, so I've just transferred my beer, and this is what it looks like at the bottom when you use this isinglass product, and you get these sort of, it's the crowds and drops and all that, and you get always weird looking. See these little lumps of this stuff? That sort of. And if you just knock it like brains, hot brains.
Yeah, so what happened was that I just knocked it a little bit and disturbed that isinglass when I was moving up to the bench to transfer it. Anyhow, so I transferred it into the keg, added the gelatine to it, so almost a double clarification now. And left that for 3 days nice and cold, and then I CO2 purged it, and you're going to see a resulting beer which came out of that.
Alright, so I don't know how well this is going to go, but I'm going to try and I'm just going to video this. It's alright. So, got a wee bit of pressure.
Nice.
Let's put a little more. Alright. See that? It's not the clearest. I think that's most of the gelatine that's come out. See that? So there's still a bit of crap in there when I knocked it, so that'll settle out.
Anyhow, 3 days later, crystal clear. Amazing. Anyhow, Second thing I want to do is say a big thank you to everybody who posted comments last week on my CO2 purging system and bottle filler. And as a result of those comments, in particular, there were a lot of useful comments on that. One of them in particular from Paul Wicksteed about the no need for having, some people recommended putting a bung on top of the bottle to counter pressure, which is true, you can do that. But as Paul pointed out, if you use a long, say 2 metre plus beer line's what it is, bloody hell, beer line, that the CO2 and the beer will actually equalise, and there'll be hardly any frothing, and you don't need to counter pressure. So that was quite good. And I was also thinking about, instead of a double movement, how I could make this an all-in-one process. So I'm going to show you what my plan is to date. A lot of people asked me for the bits and pieces that I used and description of them and where you can get them from. I'll be honest with you, when I've finished the project completely and I'm happy, I'll tell you how I did it. But let's just say it's a working prototype, this thing, so it's evolving. So I wouldn't go out and buy anything yet until I've figured it all out and I'm happy. And to be honest, I'm a pretty fussy bugger too. Anyhow, let's look at the new system and how it works. It's pretty cool. Right, here it is. So, recap. Got a splitter here so I can put on any sort of gas thing I need at any time. So, comes through here. It gets into a T-joint. Part of the gas goes up into the keg to pump out the beer. The other part of the gas comes up here, and here's the big change this week. What I've done is I've just added a 4mm, I haven't cut it yet, but you can just see how it works, 4mm piece of tubing on here, which replaced the previous thing I had, and I'm just looking around for it, but it was a wand, that's right, which I was using to CO2 flush. So what I have to do now is I have to turn it on and off manually, and I'm going to build a wee, yeah, on and off. Alright, so that's CO2 flushing. Let's just see how that actually works. So what we've got here is a wand, and that will have the beer coming into it, and at the same time you can also put a CO2 cable in here, so I can just simply put both of them in at the same time, turn on, flush it with CO2, remove the CO2 line, and start filling it with beer. Which leads me on to the next thing. As Paul sort of mentioned, that this, probably what, half a metre length, the chances are that the beer won't equalise and all the CO2 will come flying out. So one option, back to here, is to put a bung on it and counter pressure it, which I'll probably just buy one anyhow because they're only a couple of bucks, and do that, or to put a 2 metre long hose on it, which got me thinking, which again Paul said keep it nice and cold, and I thought, God, and then I had a plan. Happened to see these things here, chili bin, on sale at the warehouse, $25, and what I thought was, well, if in here I put my hose and I build something so that, you know, I can get sort of cold water and ice around it, I could have my hose coming in here connected to it, and out the front I could have my tap, and then I will be able to have 2 metres of nice chilled hose to extract my beer from. Now when I first got into kegging, I was so excited about kegging because the idea was that I'd have this tap thing and I could just go to my fridge, there'd be a tap at the front, pull the tap, out comes an ice cold beer. What I found was there was a lot of beer left in the line sitting there, and as a matter of fact, while it's a very romantic idea, it's not actually part of the way I drink, or it's not part of my lifestyle, so it's not very useful at all. So anyhow, when I got my kegging system, I got one of these, and I've never put it in my fridge. But now what I'm thinking of doing is I'm going to put this here, take these working bits off, I'm going to put this on the front of my chili bin with my 2 metre hose inside of it. And not only will this help me with, in terms of providing the length of hose that I need to equalise the beer and therefore not get any head and CO2 loss as such, I'll actually have a mini sort of bar. So I'll be able to take this chili bin around everywhere, which I can ice up. I can take my beer, which will be cold in the keg, and I can take it to places, or instead of having people coming up to the garage and getting beer and walking all through the house, I'll just take the chili bin into the kitchen, put the keg there, and we can pump icy cold beers all night for having a party, whatever, which we are shortly. So that's my sort of semi-ingenious idea that I've had this week. Oh shit! Up you come. And I think it's a pretty good solution. Who knows? I thought a lot of things were great solutions. I'd appreciate your feedback on this one. Anyhow, happy Homebrew Wednesday. Make sure you grab yourself a beer. I promise next week I'm probably going to drink Nathan McKenzie's beer that he sent me, and the week after that I'll tuck into Zane's other beer that he sent me. But you guys have a great Homebrew Wednesday. Catch you next week.